Hello guys, this is going to be a very special lesson, or at least I think so, because we're going to be doing some sort of a speed run. But the cool thing about this speed run is that I'm going to be using the openings that we have covered in this course, but I'm going to be using it in the order that they were intended to be used. And before I hit play here, for those of you who started with me from the very beginning, guys, at the beginning we just learned how the pieces move, and then on lesson number 5, we got to play our first game. Of course, at this point, we're not concerned about the opening. We just continued to learn about tactics and the basic checkmates. And then on lesson number 24 is when we talked for the first time about the 3 principles of the opening. At this point is where I'm going to start. So the first game that I'm going to play here, I'm going to hit, actually we're going to start with 3 minutes. And guys, as we move up the ladder, if I see that it's necessary, I'm going to do 3-2 or even 5-5. But let's start with 3 minutes just to make sure that we get as many games as we can. And what I'm going to do for the first game is a system, guys, that I showed to a lot of my students, especially in schools. And this system is going to allow them to follow those principles. It's going to be something like this. So I just tell them to put the pawns like this and then just get the knights here, bishops, and castle. Or they could do something that a lot of them like a lot, which is put the knights here and then do the fianchetto followed by castling. And we made this up, we made the name up, we call it the fort. This, again, guys, is not officially the name, but we made it up. And the idea is, again, that they just followed those principles. Then you and I, we talked in lesson number 30 something about the king's pawn openings, and this is the order that you guys should be following. No openings at all, then just follow the 3 principles. And then when you start taking openings more seriously, I think everyone should start with the king's pawn opening. So e4, e5, we talked about the relopes, we talked about the 4 knights with the Scotch variation, we talked about the Vienna, which I like a lot, and of course then we talked about the Pirc, the London, with the idea of castling to the opposite side. And the last lesson we had, we talked about the Colle system. So I'm going to get started and let's see how it goes. And guys, you're gonna see that a lot of these games, we're not going to be relying on opening traps or anything like that. If you train your middle game, you should be fine. Okay, so I'm just doing this. As you can see, this is no official opening. I'm just getting my pieces developed, you see? Now, fianchetto for my bishops, and then I'm going to castle. And by the way, guys, you're gonna hear me talk a lot because I want to make sure that I explained as much as I can, and hopefully you get some value out of these lessons. Notice that I could have taken, and I always tell my students when they're getting started, if you can take, just take. I want them to get really good at capturing and checks and things like that. All right, so we finished development on the queen side. Now we're going to do the same on the king side. Okay, so look at this. This is already, at this point in the course, if you're in lesson number 20 something, you should be able to see this far. So you take, and now even though they take you back, the bishop is going to get an extra pawn. So now let's see what we're going to do next. And look, from here you could even just move the bishop here and castle. But let me just go g3, bishop g2, followed by castling. Okay, there we go. And that's it. Opening is over. Now we get to the middle game. In the middle game, it's all about attacking, putting pressure on our opponent. And now that we're winning, we should be fine with simplifying the game as well. So there you go. That bishop hidden, many people miss it. We cannot forget about that bishop. Now we're winning by 2 pawns, and actually 3 pawns. And we're happy to just simplify the game. Oh, look at that. All right, so we're gonna take here. And guys, don't forget, this is a strategy. I'm winning by so much. Well, I want to, especially now that the king is open, I have one idea to just go after the king and attack it since I have more pieces. Or I could simply just simplify the game. Now, let me just go queen h5. I'm bringing my queen out, putting pressure on the king, but also doubling up on that bishop, all right? Any trades is beneficial for me because I'm up material. Okay, let me block it. And now look at this. How can I bring my knight to help? I want to bring my knight here, and my queen could do checkmates. So let's see if we can make it work. It's a long chat, but it just might work. Now I'm gonna try, guys, and you're gonna see it regardless. In these games, I'm not going to be doing anything extraordinary. I'm just going to be doing things that you should know at this point in the course. So my knight got to f5, then the queen should get to g7 in 2 moves. Of course, they could stop it, they could do things to not let me do that, but at least I have a plan. Okay, now look, oh, if this pawn weren't defending it, I could do a discovered on the queen, but no need. I don't think they have an easy way to prevent me from doing checkmate. They're gonna have to give me the queen, and at that point, they're just done. And guys, we're playing a 722. Like I mentioned on lesson number 100, what it takes for you to get to 1000 to 1100 is to just not blunder. That's it. If you stay away from blundering your queen, your pieces, your opponent is going to do it, you're going to get him in trouble. So people who are at this level, they're going to get out of it when they just stop blundering. That's it. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to do checkmate. They could easily stop it, but at least I'm going to threaten it. Okay, so let me get away from that. And I think it's time to activate the rooks. If they trade rooks, excellent, because I'm winning. If I remove these 2 rooks and these 2 rooks, then I'm going to be winning. It's going to be queen versus rook. It should be very, very easy. All right, d4, get out of here. And now I'm trying to do rook takes rook, deflecting this rook, followed by checkmate. Notice that even though this opponent is 722, he's doing a really good job at defending. All right, so now I might do the same thing. Rook here, deflecting that rook, and then I could do checkmate. That's it. All right, so now I'm going to, so 940, I'm going to do a new 3-minute game. Black pieces, I'm going to do the same thing. And then the next time that we play black pieces, we might do something a little bit more sophisticated. But for now, this is something that I teach my students. They do it a lot, and they just make it to the middle game. And that's exactly what I need you to be doing. Okay, so the same thing. So they could attack. This time, they have 2 attackers on d6. So let me just take care of this. d5. Now, look at this. I just don't want this bishop putting pressure on my... see, this would be a fork, but they could just do knight c3. Well, let's give it a try. Let's see if he sees it. If he doesn't see this move, we're going to be getting a bishop right there. Okay, he saw it, but we continue to expand here anyways. Okay, b4. Notice that I'm not doing anything extraordinary. Anyone would do these moves, guys. That check, this expansion here, it should be fine. Now c5, I'm trying to do c4. Of course they took, but now my knight is getting more and more active. Only thing I'm missing is, of course, to develop the bishops and castle. All right, so let me just do that. The only way I'm gonna get in trouble is if I do not develop my pieces properly. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not that well here, but I'm just one move now away from completing development and just getting ready for my middle game. That's it. And again, we're following the principles that we learned in lesson number 24. Okay, so I could do a passant, but no need. So bishop a6, I finally developed by gaining a tempo on the rook. Okay, now my knight should go... Should my knight go to the center? Yeah, knight to the center. That's it. Now guys, you're gonna see my opponent is 965. I was gonna say, most likely, it's all about my opponent blundering. Whoever blunders first should lose this game. So if you're playing at this level, just try to get really good at practicing and doing your tactics. And when you get to the point where you're not blundering pieces easily, then you're gonna make it to 1000 or 1100. It doesn't mean that I don't blunder. I blunder myself, but it's about not blundering so often. Okay, so let me just go knight c3. I'm hitting that queen. Queen d2 will be pinning it, but I could, oh, actually, Now I'm putting my rook on the same file as that queen. Guys, I'm using this rook because there's another open file here which is for the other rook. So if I put this rook on c8, then this one is going to be a little bit weird on f8. I want my rooks on on c and b, so I need to put this one over here. Now, most likely they're going to move that queen again, because if not, look, I'm doing 92 check, and that will be a discovered on the queen. And one more thing, notice that I'm playing 3-minute games, but it's not like I'm getting into time pressure. I'm just doing logical moves, keeping it simple. All right, so the tactic that we just talked about, moving the knight with a check. And I guess that they don't mind it that much because they got a rook and a bishop, but still that should be better for us. Okay, so now I'm winning. Again, I could just go after the king because I have the queen, or I could simply simplify the game. I think I'm just going to stay with simplifying the game for now. If I have the opportunity to attack the king, then I'll go for that. So if I trade this for this, this for this, well, actually, I think I miscalculated here. I have queen for rook and 2 minor pieces. Oh, no, I have this bishop. So if I trade bishop for bishop, knight for knight, bishop for bishop, I'm going to be left with queen versus rook and minor piece. So it should be fine. Okay, so now it looks like everything is under control for them. Let me just get my bishop active again. And I need to be careful, of course, with the back rank. Okay, so now if I go here, not yet. Okay, so let me just do this, guys, just in case there's any back rank issues, my king could go here. Okay, so okay, so I think no. So I wanted to do this, followed by check, and then collect, but my bishop is hanging. But now that I look at it, it's okay because I'm going to do check, and when I collect with a check, and that would even be another fork. Well, this is actually a pretty good move. Check, check, and then I collect on d4. Now the question is, do I want to collect on d4 or do I want to save the bishop first? I could do something like this. Move, that looks like a very nice move. So in between move, instead of just taking, which is fine because I'm simplifying the game like I said, and then I could have done queen f2, I decided to take here first. All right, so, ooh, what? 18 seconds, oh, they have 8 seconds anyway. So now, guys, still, I'm attacking so many pieces. Check. 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 All right, so guys, that was an easy game. We got their queen with a discovered, and notice that my opening was something pretty standard. Now I'm gonna do new 3-minute game. We already made it to 1,000. Now we're not gonna be playing that anymore. I'm just going to, I expect you to do king's pawn openings. So these are open games and you're going to learn a lot with them. So this is the bishop's opening, I think. I'm just going to develop my knight. And I think I could take it, but now I'm just gonna wait and develop the other knight. Okay, they castled. I'm gonna get my bishop out. And now I just castled. That's it, guys. You should be playing this at least for a while, get some exposure with it, and then you continue to learn other openings. At least this is the way that I like it to be. Okay, so d6. I'm going to do the same thing. I just don't want bishop g5. Now, bishop e6, I think we talked about this at some point, but the idea is that if now they take, I'm going to take with the f-pawn, bringing more control over the center and opening up my file. Okay, so should I just go back? Yeah, let me just go back. Now I need to find a way to put pressure down this file. Okay, they took. Now I'm pinning that knight. You see what I said? My opponents are just blundering. If I just get really good at not being the one who blunders first, I should be fine. Okay, so now that was a nice tactic because they're gonna pick up on a1, but still I'm winning by a lot. So I'm not really concerned about that. Now this knight is just looking for a better square to attack the king. So I could do queen here, even rook g8. Let me just try this first. happy to simplify the game because I'm winning by a lot. Okay, he's not so happy to simplify the game. So see, all of my pieces are now going after the king side. So how do I remove this guy? Now guys, look, I could have taken with the queen, offering a queen trade, but I really like my attacking chances on this side, especially since his queen is on the other side of the board. The rook is not doing much. Now I just found a tactic. And this is another thing. I told you on lesson number 100 that in order for you to get from this point, like 1100 to 1400, is to be able to find forks, pins, skewers quickly, or checkmate in one move, checkmate in two moves. So right now, I'm thinking of taking, followed by 92. So I need to eliminate the knight. But the problem with that is that they could take me with a check. So maybe that's not what I need right now. How about rook f7, defending and bringing the rook here? How about h5, h4? I think I'm going to go for this. But you see, guys, immediately my brain is paying attention to these patterns. It didn't work because they would take with a check, but at least I thought of that. Okay, they took h4, and now they either give me the knight or they get checkmated. All right, so you see they missed checkmate in one move. This guy is a 1000. All right, so we made it to 1150, and nope, no, okay, new 3 minutes. And now I'm gonna play e4. Guys, when it comes to e4, e5, we talked about knight f3 and the Reti Lopez and so on, but I personally like knight c3, and I'm going to go into the Vienna with g3. Now, for many years, like I explained already, I have played knight f3 followed by d4 with those Scotch ideas. But I think this one is something that you're going to like because it's pretty standard. Almost regardless of what the black pieces do, your pieces are gonna go on the same spot. And it's sort of like the Colle that we went over on lesson 104. Okay, so this is something that a lot of you trying this opening have asked. What about these? Well, you should know, guys, that two minor pieces are better than the rook and the pawn. Now, he keeps putting pressure. That's fine. I could easily go queen e1, or even better, knight d5. Whenever you see this queen on f6 so early, you should know it's not normal. It's not right. So how do we take advantage of it? Well, with a knight. Now, it is true that they could do this with a check, but then I just move away, and then his queen is being, you see? If I take, I'm done because his queen comes in. So I'm going to get out of the way. Now, the bishop is pinned, and I'm attacking all of these at the same time. Even if he goes back, or here, I could do h3, and he has to give me something. Or, what if I do this first? Yeah, let me just do this first. And I'm doing this first because the queen is anyways attacking the knight. I could do h3. Nope. See, just like that, we got a free piece. Now this is under attack. So that aggressiveness with knight g4, guys, is just going to get him in trouble. Now, to make things even worse. Okay, so we made it to 1200, and we just waited for them to make mistakes. I was thinking here knight f6 or even knight b5. But anyways, new 3-minute game. And let's do another e4. Okay, Sicilian defense. Guys, I could do the same thing, and that would be the closed Sicilian. So many people, I tell them, oh, play the same thing. And to them, they're playing the Vienna with the fianchetto, but in reality, when they do c5, it's going to be more like the closed Sicilian. But it doesn't matter to us, we're going to do the same thing. So I'm not saying you should play this opening, but if you do, you're gonna have it really easy to just focus on middle and end game because the opening is pretty easy to learn. Okay, so f4, this is the plan. They might be doing something like this. Okay, so good point. If they take, do we take with the knight, pawn, or bishop? Guys, you could take with either one. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to try them all and then you pick the one that you like the most. I personally think this is better, and we talked about this with the Pirc, the King's Indian defense, on lesson number 91. Now, these pawns are controlling so much, I could even do f5 if they did something like queen d7. And even though it looks like my king is exposed, that's not the case. This bishop is acting like a bishop, but also like a pawn. If you imagine a pawn over here, you're not going to feel uncomfortable. Okay, so time for me to bring pieces to the king side. I could even use the g file. Now, whenever I see this, my king is going to come over to protect that pawn. Problem solved. And this is automatic. If you play these, you're going to be familiar with those ideas. Okay, so rook g1, just trying to utilize that. Okay, knight d4. Now, I know that if they take, I take back. They could take on c2, but it doesn't matter to me because I'm just focused on that king. Okay, so most likely they're going for that. And that's okay, my friend. Now, knight d5 seems very, very interesting. Okay, so look at this. I'm just moving back. That way the pawn is pinned and they cannot get my queen. Now, f5 could be interesting. Knight d5 should be very powerful. And I'm not kidding. If they just go knight c2, I'm going to even sacrifice. Okay, he's serious about getting my queen, so I have to do this. Ooh, look, this is a fork. I missed that. That's the fork I did not see. Okay, so I gotta make sure that at least I get that. You see, guys, this person saw the fork. I was concerned about c2 and I missed a fork. Oh, but now he blundered. You see? Now he didn't see my queen is protecting the bishop. So that's what it comes down to. Who blunders the most? But anyways, I got out of the opening safely. Now knight d5 comes very nicely with a tempo on the queen. And I think queen d8 is the only move right now. Yep. Now, how about this bishop coming? Okay, just keeping it simple. Nah. Yeah, I gotta do that, guys, because besides that, I need to activate this rook. I just gotta find a way to do that. I know this is not that deadly. They have f6, but it's more about bringing this rook to the h file, and then they should be in trouble. Okay, so king g2, rook h1, and now it's just about moving this guy out of here. Okay, so let me just do this check. Now, same thing. When I move this bishop, I'm going to be hitting that twice. So we just got to find that. Okay, so bishop e6. Now, all of my pieces, look, all of my pieces are working together, putting pressure on that king side. The black pieces are all really, really passive. Okay, now this is checkmate in one move, so they better... No, they didn't do anything about it. That was a 1200 player, guys, and we were able to get him in trouble. Now, not proud of the fork that I missed. I didn't realize that when the queen moved, that fork was going to come in. Right, so next, new 3-minute game, black pieces, and they're playing d4. Look, against d4, I'm assuming that you haven't gotten to lesson 51 yet, so I'm just going to do d5, something standard. Next time I play against d4, you're going to see a different opening, but I'm just getting my pieces out. So maybe going after the knight. Nah, let me just get it out. Then e3, e6, I'm sorry. Then, okay, so look, this is the queen's gambit. You know what, let me just go here with a check. I'm ready to castle, and I got out with a check. There you go. And I finally castle. So anyone who went over lesson number 24 knows this much. That's it. Only thing missing, this knight. That's it. We got to the middle game. Now we play chess. So 94 coming to the center. Makes sense to me. I like my bishop here, pretty active. And let's continue to put pressure on that knight. Okay, so what can we do next? Okay, let me activate my rook. Again, I'm not going after after them to do a crazy attack. No, I'm just playing chess quietly. So we're playing a 1300. I don't think not blundering is enough here. We need to find tactics. We need to look for ways to complicate the game. Okay, so I'm just gonna try to double up. At the same time, I could do some like rook leaf or something like that. Okay, so this queen is attacking here, so I gotta I gotta take care of that pawn. b5 might be in the horizon as well. Well, it looks like not yet. Okay, so what can I do here? Now I really have to be careful. Well, let me just go here. You see, rook lift, rook roll over, and now check. And they have to come out. If they go down, that's gonna be checkmate. Okay, so how can we take advantage of this? Check, check. This would be nice. This would be nice if I had the time. Check, check. Okay, so I'm thinking of this. This is check. If he goes here, check, he takes, rook e8, king goes to d1. It almost works. Okay, check, no. Okay, 53 seconds, guys, but I feel like we have something here. What it is, I'm not so sure. Okay, so now, okay, let me take here. He took back. Now this is like, I really want to make this work. So take, rook e8, king d1. Nope, it's not gonna work. Are you kidding me? Okay, let me do this then. So 27 seconds. If I see, guys, that this is just getting too crazy with the 3-minute games, we're gonna increase the time control, but we should be able to make it work here. All right, so the knight is pinned and we just put pressure on it. We know that if there's a pinned piece, we should add more pressure to it with the least valuable piece available. Okay, so that's just a free knight. Okay, check. Okay. And here we go. 15 seconds. We should be able to finish this. I hope. Let me just open up here. I should have something better, but I really don't want to leave the back rank just yet. Check. Okay, guys, let me see. That check should be coming. Yep, just winning, getting some time. Oh, I can't believe this. There you go. We actually made it right there very nicely. So we just show some respect. You put good game, and that's it, guys. I think, yeah, I made a silly mistake there. I thought, you see, I was right about not leaving the back rank. It was just, I think I should have been more energetic and done check. But anyways, new 3-minute game. Now let's go all in. And guys, time to bring d4 in. So on lesson number 58, we learned the London, and we learned the London with the idea of the opposite side castling attack. So let's see if we can make that work. So we didn't go too deep into the theory of the London. It was just mainly, oh, in this case, there's a blunder, and we don't even have to go into that. Hi guys, I'm just gonna keep trading because we are simply winning, so we know that. Okay, so queen h5, nah, let's show some respect here. Right, let me just go knight c3. If they take, I just take on d5, and we should be fine. All right, guys, so there you go. We got checkmated. We got checkmated pretty badly. Okay, if I do this, nope, not exactly what we need. Okay, so how about queen h5, queen f3? Yeah, let's do that. So this is pretty straightforward. When one move threat, they could easily block it with g6, but then we just go back and now we're putting pressure on d5. We could have done, let me see, if knight d5 now, queen a5 is always in the air, not exactly what we want. So all of that is solved by just castling, but we cannot castle. What if we castle to the other side? All right, so this is typically not a good idea when there's semi-open files, but in this case, I don't think they have much here to get me in trouble with. Okay, so how about we just do knight f7 now? Okay, let's do this. So I'm just putting pressure on that knight, which is going to be lost, or I just go the way to Okay, I could just ignore that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to ignore that. Now, if they take with a check, I just go away. Okay. Guys, I don't see any checkmate here if they take. Oof. Okay, so do I have any quick checkmates here? Bishop h6, they cannot stop this, but let me see. Take. Queen a5, queen d3, king d3. Yeah, so this is checkmate no matter what. Now queen a3, queen a5. I'm just gonna hide, put my king in safety, and I don't think there's checkmate. Yep. Now b5 is the only safe check, and I could even do c4, but let me just go away. And now there's nothing they could do about this checkmate. Sacrifice the queen maybe to delay it, but that's about it. Yep, so let me see. Okay, so this is not enough to get to 1300, but let's see. All right, guys, so they resigned. They knew they couldn't do anything about that checkmate. All right, if we lose another, well, not if we lose another game because of that, but if we get in time pressure too often, we gotta increase it to 3-2 or maybe 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna do e5, hoping that they would do knight f3, and I could do the Russian defense. This is, I think, lesson number maybe 35. But they did the King's Gambit. If you play e5 and they do the King's Gambit, you guys have to have a line against it. Now, I'm going to show you one that I enjoy, which is Queen h4, check. It looks like a pretty bad move because you have to go back. But now, I'm going to be putting a lot of pressure down this file. You see, if they take back, I'm going to take on e4. Well, I'm taking on e4. And guys, all of a sudden, the person that was supposed to be attacking is going to be defending. Look at this, I'm at the check, attacking all of these pieces. Well, happy to trade because I'm winning, and without queens, there's nothing I should be concerned with here. That's it. Okay, so should I do this or... Guys, look, he's trying to continue with the spirit of the King's Gambit, but there are no queens, there's nothing. So it's very unlikely that they're gonna get anything out of it. Now, with that said, I have to be careful because I could easily get checkmate or something like that, but again, it shouldn't be that easy. Now, g6 just seems very passive. So knight g5 could be something after. Nah, okay, let's do that. Yep. Now, my knight is just taking care of that. I could even castle now. Okay, so I know they want to do something like maybe a discover. No, that doesn't work. Maybe it is, well, they just want to get this. And they found a way. Okay, so knight f5. Okay, so this should be fine. We're winning by 3 pawns. This is looking more like an endgame. So we should be fine here. The only thing I don't like is that I need to develop this too. But my bishop is already improved and my pawn is ready to be pushed. Okay, so let me just do c6. Even if I don't get that fork, I'm going to get to block that bishop. Okay, let's just hide. And now look, not only am I throwing the fork, I'm throwing to pin that knight as well. So just little tactics. We're not doing anything, any checkmating 4, checkmating 5. We're just trying to look for those pins, those forks, and we should be fine. Now, I'm attacking that knight, and d5 is still in the air. Not to win anything, but to make the bishop go away from this diagonal. So I'm guessing, oh, nope. Yeah, we got a piece right there. And this should get us, guys, to 1300. Okay, so let's get the bishop. And now we're pinning that knight. Yep, so now we just put pressure on the pin knight that cannot go anywhere. So maybe this. Oof, how long has this rook been there? Let me go back. Oh, no. So I just took, now I can get the rook. All right, not bad. All right, guys, so now we're winning by just 2 much. All right, so now new 3-minute game. So that's a good way to deal with the King's Gambit. Okay, so now let me just go knight f3, just one game with the King's Indian attack, or maybe not. So they blundered the pawn, 1154. Oh, we got a few points there. New 3-minute game, black pieces, and it's time to just play the Pirc Defense. So guys, look, since they didn't do e4, I'm going to skip the Czech variation because it just doesn't make much sense, even though you could do it and you will be fine. Let me just go to the regular Pirc from lesson number 69. Now, since they did not play e4, this is not the Pirc. This is going to be the King's Indian defense system. So remember, it's the same setup, but depending on how the white pieces start, it's going to be called the Pirc or the King's Indian defense. Now, I already see the discovered attack on that rook, so what do I do with the knight? Well, this could be pretty interesting, trying to get to g3. And, I mean, they could do c3, or they could just miss it. Guys, this is a 13-23. I know that you might be thinking, okay, no one makes these mistakes when they play me, but believe me, if that's the case, maybe it's because you guys are the ones blundering first. So, something to keep in mind. Okay, let me just, I don't like to bring the knights to the edge, but this might come handy. If anything, I just reroute it. Maybe it was more accurate to just do knight d7, but okay, so let me see. Let me just get my bishop back to safety. If I lose this game is because, again, I fall behind in development. Okay, let me just take it. I'm winning by a lot, so it just makes sense. Knight c6. Now, bishop f5. Nope, that will be dropping a piece. I don't even want a castle now. Okay, let me just do e5. Just trying to open up a little bit. Okay, they took. Now I take with a fork. Of course, they could move the queen to protect the bishop, but any simplification is going to be good for me. And now I think this is winning material. Skewer. And when I take on d3 with a check, I'm going to get the other bishop as well. So guys, don't be surprised if our opponent is going to resign. Look, this knight could also have gone to g3 with a fork. So my intuition was right about this knight here. Okay, so check. The rook is defended. Nothing to be concerned with. Be careful with this move, because that could be another fork. Check. Look, that was a fork too, but that will be an exchange. So I'd rather get the clean piece than getting a rook for the knight. Okay, so do I have any other checks? Nope. Okay, let me just try this. So this knight, remember, is coming to g3 and getting incorporated. Okay, so should I do this? Nah. Guys, I'm not even going to mind losing the right to castle because this king is in trouble. And look, that knight, again, is at the end coming to help. Check. Now, if they get on this diagonal, then I could just do a discovered. Look, I could get that rook, but I'm going to try to get checkmate instead. Okay, so do we have a check? Yes, that will be check. Check, check, check. Okay, let me just do this. Let's just keep it simple. So if they trade, fine. Remember, the less pieces they have, the less they could get me in trouble with. But at the same time, I'm threatening a discovered. Oh, they blundered the queen. So forget about that. Okay, don't be surprised, guys, if they just resign. No, they don't feel like resigning. Check. And again, we did not do anything extraordinary in the opening. We just did our Pirc or King's Indian defense setup, and we took advantage of. Okay, I think this is gonna be checkmate. Yeah. So guys, before I go to the next game, notice what we did. Look, we just did our setup, and the moment we saw this, we started to put pressure on that. And of course, our opponent blundered that piece. Okay, so new 3-minute game, and I think we're gonna make it to 1500 soon. So, well, actually, we have a few more games. Okay, so maybe this one is going to be perfect for the Czech variation of the Pirc. So let's see. Okay, so they defended the pawn, and now, oof, look at this. Queen a5 is what we talked about, but just know, guys, when the bishop comes here so early, you could do b5, b4, and get that pawn. So let me just try that. Let me try this. And now you see, with that tempo, we got to the knight, which is the defender of this pawn. That's it, we got a free pawn. So instead of using the trick with the queen, we used something else. Okay, so let me just do this. Look, notice how we're doing something completely different simply because it makes sense. Now that king cannot castle. And this is what I want you to do, guys. I know that we talked about the plans and everything else, but at the end of the day, it is about playing chess. All right, so I'm gonna trade, I'm winning. It makes sense to me. And now look, queen a5, I'm gonna do it anyways because I'm doing it with the tempo on the bishop. So let's see what they're going to do. Maybe queen d2. Maybe. Ooh. Okay, let's think about this. Yeah, let's do it now. There's no checks because if not, they'll be doing a discovered on the queen. Okay, so that queen has to continue to protect the bishop. So let's see what they're going to do next. Nope, I don't think they cared. Ooh, they do care. Okay, so queen f7, I just move. Well, I'm willing to let them take on f7, it's not checkmate. Unless I'm missing something, and I might be missing a checkmate. Unless I'm missing something. Okay. Yeah, that's it. You see, again, I'm not, I don't mind that castling because look, I'm winning by a piece and they don't have enough pieces to create complications and their king is not going to castle anytime soon. Okay, do I have any checks? Nope. Okay, so look at this. This is threatening checkmate in one move. And again, I don't see them putting me in check anytime soon. So let's see if they see the checkmate threat. Maybe rook d1 is the only thing to stop it. But then rook f8 and their queen is going to be trapped. Okay, so let's see. Alright guys, so I know that I haven't stopped talking, but oh, it's not trapped because they could go over here, but still they're in trouble. So I'm talking a lot because I really want to make sure that I explain as much as I can. So queen h7, fine. Now I'm hitting the bishop and checkmate. Even if they take my bishop, this should be checkmate. Well, this bishop's turned out to be ideal. All right, so that's checkmate. And we're almost at 1400, new 3-minute game. And guys, this time I'm gonna do the King's Indian attack. Let's see if we can get to it. Remember that we talked about the King's Indian attack on lesson number 79? And we saw it more like starting with e4, and then if they played the Sicilian or the French, we'll do it. But I also told you that you could force it by starting with knight f3. Now, this is looking more, yeah, this is gonna be more like the Pirc with color reversed. That's something else you could get. Okay, e4, we just take, that's why the pawn comes to d3. Now we chop off that queen, and knight to the center, we're hitting the pawn as well. So what are they going to do? This could be interesting, but let's give it a try. Just to make them do something about it. Guys, completely unnecessary. They could easily defend it. This is what we call a one-move threat, but let's see. So I'm just continuing to put more pressure on it to bother them. Again, they could take, and we get double pawns, but we should be fine. All right. Okay, so we did not get the exchange or a pawn, but we got their pair of bishops, and this bishop is going to be really nice on this diagonal. Okay, so I keep developing my pieces, and now I'm thinking of just castling to the queen side because my rook is going to be on a nice file. So let's see. Let's see what they're going to do. Okay, so I'm castling, so I protect the pawn that they wanted, and my rook is putting pressure on that knight. So most likely the knight is gonna go back to where it came from. Nope, taking here. Now bishop c7 would be a nice trick, but then they would just castle. So I need to try to open up the other bishop. Okay, so take. And now I'm pinning the knight, so that means this pawn could be taken. Yep, pawn is taken, and they missed that. Actually, I should have done this, but I could do it now. Now look, I have two ways to continue here. I could do rook d8, hoping that they take, and then I do bishop takes knight with the fork. I get the rook back, or I could take, and then since the rook is pinned, I just continue to put pressure on it, and I'm gonna get the rook back anyways. All right, so guys, at that point, we're going to be winning by a clean rook, and that should be enough. At that point, when I get the rook, if I trade my rook for the other rook, one of my bishop for that bishop, I'm going to be left with an extra bishop. It should be a pretty easy endgame to win. Right? I think it looks like my opponent is just disconnected or something like that. So if anything, I'll just cut this part of the video to not make it so long. All right, so they just resigned. We made it to 1400. Let's see if we can get a few more games. Now I'm just gonna do d4, and let me just play, guys, the Colle setup that we learned last lesson. So notice that they're playing more like a King's Indian setup. That's fine. I'm going to do my thing. 92, and now let's play chess. So we got to the middle game. In the Colle, we talked about 95, but that's not possible. So let's go into the other plan with c4. Oop. So that's a pawn right there. And guys, this is a 1458, but they gave us that pawn for free. Now, automatically, this is a pass pawn. It's really nice to have it in the end game. Now, queen typically goes to e2. Let's keep it that way. Now here, I know that we talked in the Colle, we retake with the pawn, but that'll be isolated. And remember, this is not exactly the positions that we talked about. So let me just do, you know what? Let me just take with the bishop. If this knight moves, I'm going to chop off the fianchetto bishop, which is really important. All right, going back. Ooh, this could have been a fork. Maybe it wouldn't work, but it was something worth considering. Okay, so let's just go back. Let me just do this. Okay, so I'm winning by a pawn. To me, that's enough. So welcome if they want to trade pieces. Now, this pawn is what we call a left behind pawn. We talked about this in lesson, I want to say 43, 44. Okay, so we keep improving our pieces, and now that left behind pawn is going to be the first one to fall. Yeah. Now, not only that one, when that one falls, this one falls. So I'm okay if they take. Yep. And just like that, guys, we got two passed pawns. These are connected passed pawns. Oop. And that's it. So let's see. Rook e8 maybe. Oop. And now the rook is trapped. He used the wrong rook. He should have just gone. All right, let me just go here. And I'm going to get that rook anyways. And look, I even have a fork here. Right, let me have this. And now look, there's so many ways to continue here, but I'm just going to push. That's it. Push. Ideally, guys, you would push them together, but here you don't even have to do that. So I think that a7 is coming almost regardless. Okay, before. Oop, that's free knight. All right, guys, so almost one more, and we're gonna make it to, okay, so b3, I'm just going to do my set up. Now, if they take, many people do that. We take, then we do f5 eventually, and we're always going to have a good bishop over here. But they didn't. So don't be surprised. Look, what is this? This is going to be the Colle. So now we're playing our King's Indian defense against that Colle. So they did it with c3, fine. Now e5, nope, we cannot do it yet. Now here I think I'll play it with knight b to d7, preparing e5, but how about bishop g4? Let's give it a try. And now knight b to d7. Oh, I dropped this for playing too fast. There you go. Now let's try to open up lines towards that king. Okay, it happens, guys, but at least we got some activity for that pawn. Okay, so king is in the center, like they just don't mind it. Let's just put pressure on that. Okay, so look at this. This is our knight trying to get to a very nice square on d3. And there we go. Okay. Okay, is there any way that we can continue to put pressure here? Okay, so let me just get out of here. That knight is gonna move with the tempo on the knight, so I gotta move it. Guys, there you go. I played so fast, I got so excited that I was playing my King's Indian defense, and I dropped the pawn, so that means I need to be more careful. Silly mistake right there. Okay, so now let me see if I can do something with these. Okay, so we're just losing by a pawn. It shouldn't be a big deal. And look, if I trade here right now, that's gonna be opposite color bishops. Is effortlessly, it should be a draw. But if I want to try to play for a win, let me not do that. At least not yet. Knight c6, nope. Yeah, let me just do knight c6. Now, don't be surprised if this is the game that I'm going to lose, because I'm trying to force it. I'm trying to look for that win. And my opponent, all he needs to do is stay quiet and don't fall for any silly tricks or anything like that. Okay, so you see, I'm already thinking of this bishop takes, but I need someone else to be supporting that. So maybe rook e7. Yeah. So let me just double up more pieces. I'm just looking for ways to, well, I think my opponent blundered the bishop. That's it. And guys, this is not an 800 player, but you see how they still blunder. I mean, again, I blunder myself a lot, but it's about how often that happens. Okay, let me just go back to what we wanted before. Nope. Okay, so now things are different. We're winning by a piece. They shouldn't be trading anything. Let's go for it. Let's look for trades. Let's look for those trades. Okay, so check, doubling up the pawn structure. Now I'm happy to, oh wait, I was gonna say I'm happy to trade pieces because I'm winning by a lot, but what if I just do check? Nah, let me just keep it simple. Let me just keep it simple. We're winning by a bishop. If I trade the rooks, I'm left with the bishop, easy to finish this. Okay, so now this is to fix that pawn. That's gonna be my target, little by little. Okay, now threatening to take here because the pawn is pinned. And oop, see, that was not good. Maybe I should have played for that checkmate. Okay, now I'm fine. Yeah, they're looking for checks just to win some time, and that's okay. Come on. Now guys, I gotta take this. If I run out of time, it's gonna be a draw. checkmate, and yeah. Oh, what? I thought I was gonna make it to 1500. Okay, one more, and black pieces, and let's see. Nope. Okay, new 3-minute game. Okay, white pieces. Let's just do. Let's do d4. Okay, so g6. You know what? Let me do this, guys. If they're gonna play that, let me show you. Some of you have asked me, because I have talked so much about playing the Pircs, and you have asked me, what do I play against it? Well, there are a few things that I play against it, but there's one, forget about it. Now they play more like a Sicilian. Okay. They don't want to play the Pircs. So this is more like a dragon now. Okay. I'm just going to develop my pieces. This is something pretty standard. Should have done this before. That e6 was not good. Queen d6 was interesting as well. But let me just develop my pieces. Okay, so it's not about that. It's about this square. But e5, so interesting as well. 96. Okay, let me just do 96. So guys, this is, as you can see, I'm not following any theory, nothing like that. Nah, let me just castle. Now they're happy. They're welcome to just take on c3. That bishop is really important, so I don't think they're gonna give it up. But if they do, they are welcome to do so. Okay, if we win this one, I think we make it to 1500. Okay, so now is e5? Nope. Now this queen here is a little bit awkward. So let me just go here. Now this bishop anyways cannot even go to b7 because of my powerful knight. Yeah. Now b4, knight d5. Okay guys, so look at this. There's a trick that we have in the Pircs when the queen comes out to a5, where we could do knight d5, hitting this guy, and if they take the queen, we do in between move check, and then we collect. But that trick works because after knight d5, the queen will be hanging. In this case, they have b6. So I'm going to do b4, decoying the queen to b4, that way it's hanging, and then I think I could do knight d5. See? Now hanging, they could take. If I just take back, I lose the knight, but I'm going to do in between move, and then I collect that queen. That's it. Now this bishop is going to be captured. Ooh, I didn't see my rook. Come on. I mean, still nice. We should be fine, but I have to admit, I did not see that. Okay, so take. Okay, what if I do this now, and then bishop c3? Come on. Oh, no, wait. Bishop a6. So I was thinking this, then bishop c3, but they could have done rook g7. So I think I could do it like this. Guys, if the rook moves, then checkmate. This bishop, the knight is defending it, so I think this is the best approach. And as happy as I'm here, what is this? As happy as I'm here, this knight looks a little bit weird, so I don't know if I can get it out. Let's see. Okay, exactly what we talked about. What's going on? Okay, so knight for knight. If the knight leaves, then bishop g5. So maybe they do that, still take it. And guys, this is not only defending, I'm throwing checkmate in one move. Alright, that's it. Guys, I'm going to, oh, what? I was new 3-minute game. I thought that was gonna get me to 1500. Alright, anyways, one more game. Let me just stay loyal to, you know what? Let me just do my my birds opening. I have mentioned it so much. Let's see if you guys can see it in action. Let's see, but it looks like my opponent is not gonna play against this. Nope. Okay, he played it. Okay, so guys, why do I like the bird's opening so much? I know it has a bad reputation, but to me, it's just another opening that is easy to implement. I just need to know where my pieces go. So typically you could play like this. You could also do like G3 instead and play it more like a dodge. But this is just gonna be simple enough. All right, so come on, man. All right, I really wanted to show you the deep strategies and everything else, but this is just pretty easy. Okay, so I guess we got lucky on this one. Oh, come on, what is going on? All right, so let's see if they just resign. That way we can just at least play another game. This game was not good at all. And now, is he gonna just wait instead of resign? Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, just going in there. Just let's see if we can finish this as quickly as we can. It looks like he doesn't want to play. Now, this check is fine. We could just block it with G3. Nope, that's not what they're looking for. So how about we do bishop C4? How about we do... All right, let's do this check. That way they cannot castle at all. Then check. And we could castle now with a check if it remains. Okay, so is it going here? Oop, or to G5? Most likely to E7. I don't think G5 is the way to go here because I have 96. But who knows? Ooh, wait. I missed the fork. Guys, there you go. You see, playing mechanically, falling in love with that check, and I missed a simple fork. So, not good. Okay, so this is check. If it goes here, checkmate with bishop G7. If it goes to, yeah, that's checkmate. All right. So guys, let me just do one more game because this one was pretty bad. Hopefully I get, okay, white pieces, and there we're playing the bird. You're gonna see it again. I'm just gonna do my same thing. Then this bishop, if the knight was, if I could pin the knight on C6, I'll put it on B5. But if not, I just leave it behind and I castle. Guys, just like that, I'm done with the opening. Now my opponent just blundered that pawn. So why not? And now we're winning. So happy to trade bishops as well. And I'm hitting this guy. Okay. Now, typically it's not like this, but my opponent just gave me easily. Oop. My opponent is giving me easily some material. Guys, I don't know. Maybe they just don't know how to play against this opening. But as you can see, they're giving us some material easily. Okay, let me just bring more pieces. Typically, I just like to get the knight out or whatever piece it is, because then they could start attacking my defender, but they're just blundering. Guys, this is almost a 1500, and somehow it's just making these mistakes. Okay, so maybe it's time to just leave. Nope. Okay, I don't see any way that they could attack my queen here easily. So let me just do this check. I was trying to look for ways to incorporate more pieces, but maybe I can create something else. Well, let me just let me just go back. So I don't think my queen is going to get in trouble. This knight is pinned, so they cannot develop it. And we're winning by 3 points. So this should be fine. Most likely, come on, God, what's going on? This would be do I have any checkmates? That's it. Okay guys, so I'm going to leave it here, and like always, I'm going to talk to you in the comments. I'm planning to continue with this. Maybe I just continue all the way to 2000. You're gonna let me know in the comments what you thought. If you think this was not worth it, or maybe I was talking too much and it's just too annoying, it doesn't make any sense, you let me know as well. I'm going to go with what you guys tell me. I also hope that the main idea, which is showing you how you should start with no openings, then just following the principles that we went over in lesson number 24, then the open games with e4, e5, and eventually we talk about the Pirc, the London, and so on. Now, those of you who want to see something like this where I explain the moves and so on, but lower than 800, you guys can look at this playlist on the channel where I've put all of the games that I played, just explaining the moves. And actually the first one was lesson number 20, where I was just playing games. It was actually like 15-minute games, and I was playing lower rated opponents, I think. And also in this playlist, you guys can find lesson number 63 is a lot of games playing the London with the opposite side castling attack and so on. So anyways, this is your playlist if you're looking for this kind of games. So again, I hope that you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you guys in our next lesson.